Hi, I'm Carolyn Robistow from the Therapist Travel Fund, and I used Laurie-Ann's template to reach out to a local conference organizer because I realized I was going to be in the area to say that I was available to speak should they have anybody not able to make it at the last minute. And while they did not have anybody not able to make it at the last minute, guess who is now on their list for the next conference because I had the opportunity to meet the organizer in person while I was there. Thank you so much, Laurie-Ann. I am so thrilled with every result every time I use one of your templates.
Hello, all my Be in Demand listeners. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this podcast. Today is a speaker breakthrough session. And if you are a coach, a consultant, or a service provider who is looking to learn how to leverage speaking opportunities, because speaking positions you as the expert, allows you to call in the perfect clients, and why not monetize your expertise? And if you would like to book your very own speaker breakthrough session, stick around to the end. Today we have Annemarie, and Annemarie works with high school students to help them get into their college. So she has signed up for the speaker breakthrough session. So let's get on to the show. Anne Marie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Good. Anne Marie, let's just dive right in. What do you do? Tell me what you do and who you help.
Sure. We help high school kids get into college. That's very high level what we do. The parents of high school students are my clients. The kids are actually the ones that we work with.
Okay. So your clients are the parents
The parents pay us the money, but we actually work with the kids.
with their kids. And
Yep.
now are we talking like Ivy League or
Yep.
any college, any
Do it
level?
all.
You do it
Best to
all.
worst. Yep, we've had, a number of kids get into Ivy League universities and go to Ivy League universities like Cornell and Brown, a lot of upper tier private universities like MIT, Rice, NYU, but then, regional schools as well, because we do work with clients all over the US. We are international, so have clients all over the country. And so, our kids have gotten into, universities in 49 of the 50 states, which we're pretty proud of. Nobody's wanted to
Congratulations.
go to Alaska quite yet, but I imagine that'll be coming at some point. Probably the most important thing I wanna say today is that there really is a college for everybody. And so even
Mhm.
if your student is at the bottom of their class, the top of their class, or any place in between, if your student wants to go to a four-year university, there is one out there for them.
I have worked with private clients who do something very similar to what you do, and also people that have gone through in demand signature speech, very similar to what you do. So I'm very familiar with what you do. And so I'm curious, how did you get here?
Such an interesting question. My life has kind of come full circle. My mom was public education 35 years. I always wanted to be a high school counselor. And at the time, you had to be a teacher first before you could be a counselor. And my mom was like, honey, you just don't have the patience to be a teacher. And so I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And so my life kind of, you go on a different pathway. Many years later, I was working at an educational services company as a salesperson, and long story short, I popped out with my current business partner, and we started College Inroads from the ground up. So his father was in education as well. There was a lot of overlaps there. Very long story, very short synopsis.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the cliff notes on your background. So what
Of
would you
course.
like to get out of this coaching session?
And
And I'm thinking of it as like if you and I were to chat and check in 6 months from now, what do you wanna tell me?
So what I wanna get out of this is obviously all the amazing expertise that you have. I only know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. And so I
Mhm.
love, speaking with, professional coaches like you, to help me kind of figure out where my blind spots are because like I said, I
Mhm.
don't know what I don't know. And our biggest goal is to be able to grow more strategically outside of our region. As I mentioned earlier, we are international, but that's accidental, right? It's like, can you work with my next door neighbor in Nevada or my cousin in Canada? We're like, sure. And so growing more strategically outside of our target market is probably my biggest goal at this point.
Okay. I can only teach you so much in 25 minutes. I got 25 years of experience. Okay, so
But you're an expert. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
okay, what's holding you back from expanding outside of your regional area?
Think just the knowledge of how to do it, right? I mean, I didn't major in marketing when I was in college. I know enough about marketing to kind of get myself in trouble. I've been very lucky to kind of get tapped into the speaking for my business. I do a lot of presentations, and so I speak almost weekly with organizations that serve high school students or the parents of high school students and their money. And so I've been lucky enough to be able to speak a lot and just learning how to, grow outside of my target market. It's like I don't even know where to start, right?
You keep saying grow outside of my target market, but
Grow outside of our region,
your
right? And
region.
so,
Okay.
yeah, that's probably a
Okay.
better way to put it.
One thing that comes to mind, I think it's episode 206, where I talk about using your warm market to grow your speaking business. So that's one thing. And I emphasize the warm market because these are people that already know, like, and trust you, that might be able to refer you to the right person to speak and just to reconnect with some people. So I'm going to give that as your homework assignment since we're talking about college and schooling. You have homework. Episode 206, please.
Awesome.
So that's one thing. So you've mentioned to me that you do a lot of speaking. Did you speak last week?
I did.
Okay. How many times? Once, twice?
I spoke twice last week.
Okay. Who'd you speak for?
One was an organization called National Charity League. They are a philanthropic organization for high school girls and their moms. And
Mm-hmm.
so I spoke with the parents, the moms, called the patronesses. I spoke with the patronesses about just an overview of all of the things that the kids need to do when they are planning to apply to and go to college.
Okay. Was that a local chapter?
That was a local chapter, yes.
Okay. Who was the other person that you spoke for?
And then I did a YMSL, Young Men's Service League, which is a philanthropic organization for young men and their moms. That was in a different city within my state.
Okay.
So that wasn't
But
necessarily
again,
local, but it was close.
was that your most local chapter?
No, that was not my most local chapter, no.
So it was just another chapter within an
Mhm.
organization. Okay.
Correct.
Have you spoken for some of the other chapters for either one of these organizations?
Yes.
How many of them?
Lots and lots of them. There
Okay.
are multiple chapters of these organizations in each city. And so, yeah, that's that's great
Okay.
for me. Great
How
place for
many?
me.
Okay. So how many are in Texas?
Um, oh, that's a good question. I mean, here in Austin, which is where I am, there are multiple chapters in each school district in some cases. So there's lots and lots of them. I'd say over, I don't know, 500.
Okay. So have you spoken for all 500?
I have not.
Okay. I'm
That's
like
one of the things that
I'm leading up to something here.
no, for sure. I have been reaching out to the national headquarters, I guess, of both of those organizations and want to sponsor. They have big training session that they do for all of the new incoming leaders at that level. So I'm looking to sponsor and be able to speak in front of all of those people at those types of events. That's exactly what I want to do.
Okay. Do you have a post-event speaking process?
I do not. I
This is what
mean,
I call it. I call it a post-event speaking process.
yeah,
Something that like you are literally checking off the boxes, kind of like when you're doing your speaking sessions in front of parents and students and you're telling them like, here's a list of things that you need to do. Well, same thing for you. Here's a list of things to do that you after each speaking event.
okay,
You need to get referrals,
yeah, yeah,
testimonials,
that's great.
pictures, video if you can. Do you have a speaker page on your website?
I do not.
Oh dear goodness. Okay, episode 197 is also a homework assignment.
Got it. 197.
197 is obviously an episode that I refer people to. Well, actually, both of these I refer a lot of people to. 197 is the 7 essentials that your website, your web page needs to have. I want you to look like a professional speaker. That way, if somebody hears of you and then they go to your website, I want them to see the speaker tab. I don't want the speaker section to be in your about section. I want there to be like, boom, yo, meeting planners or a person who's trying to book me, here's where you want to go. Click here. This says I'm a professional. This is what I do. This is going to make getting booked so much easier. So
Awesome.
that's one thing. But just to have this process. So I do a lot of speaking myself in people's private communities, and I will let them know ahead of time, like, hey, I'm just kind of like checking in. It might be a week or 2 weeks beforehand. And I'll let them know after the event is done, there's a couple of things that I'm going to ask of you. I'm going to ask you for a testimonial based on my performance. I'm also going to ask you for some referrals. And I'm also going to ask you like for like, and when I say testimonial, it can be either a video testimonial, preferably, or a written testimonial. So
Okay.
one or the other, but you're just kind of like checking the boxes. So when you get booked, you could, hey, here's the date. Let's just say it's like a Monday. The following Monday or even later that week, have a follow-up call. And set that before, like at the very time that you're booking your event. This is just going to be our follow-up call. I like to do this for all the events that I speak at, just to check in, get some feedback, and get the testimonials. If they take any pictures, if they can give those pictures to you as well.
Got it.
And let's just
That's awesome.
let's get some more speaker assets so that somebody who doesn't know you goes to your website. They're just like, oh my God, we have got to bring Annemarie in. Look at all these testimonials. And make a pile. I say a pile. You just want a page with all your testimonials, not
Yeah.
just for your coaching and your services, but also
Yeah.
for your speaking.
Yeah. Love it. Great
Every,
idea.
and put every single one in there. When you go to my website under my testimonial page, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Like you're going to get sick of scrolling. That's what I want for you.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So I think you having a post-event process, because a lot of times what I see speakers do is that they're waiting. They're thinking, hey, like I did a great job here, but like they're still waiting for the invites. But unless your audience knows, or the person who's booking you knows, one, what to do for you or how to help you, you know, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
They just don't know. And I also think that in your closing, to let your audience know that like this is part of your mission is to get this information out to more students so that they get into the school that they want to get into, that they desire. So if they know of another organization, if they would give you a warm introduction,
Yeah.
you
That's a great idea too.
might have a stack of your business cards and like, here are my business cards and feel free to take one. introduce me because this is what I'm doing. I spent a winter down in Florida. My husband and I do have a place down there, and one winter he just was like, "Let's go down there." I'm from New Hampshire. It's kind of cold up here in the winter. When I started dating him, I got a sudden snow allergy. It's self-diagnosed, by the way. And but I told him, I was like, "I am going to make a name for myself." This is when I was speaking in leadership. And I literally spoke to 30 Rotaries in a short period of time. Now, it took a lot of planning ahead of time, but I I got to the point where I was saying to the Rotaries at the end, because I fell in love with Rotaries, by the way, and I would
Yeah.
tell them, I love speaking to Rotaries. So if you know of another Rotary that needs a speaker, please, I would love a warm introduction. You always, like, people will do that. They'll be like, oh, yeah, if you are outstanding on the stage, you have a great presentation, they're going to be very happy to introduce you and refer
Yeah.
you to other places.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay, so let's just kind of map out your post-event process. You're going to ask for a testimonial, uh, any videos or pictures that they happen to take. It's always a good idea for you to do that too. Asking for referrals. And just really checking in, like, how did the event go?
I love it.
Another thing that you can do when you call them or email them, even just a week beforehand, because a lot of times speakers don't show up. So kind of like getting that,
Can you imagine? Oh,
I know. But there's lots of reasons why speakers don't show up. Health reasons, traffic, like an emergency came up. Like I always get a cell phone number of somebody who's going to be on site so that if I do run into an emergency, that's why I'm texting them. And I always let them know, like,
yeah.
this is just for this event. I'm not going to stalk you later or anything
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Super
letting them,
helpful. I mean, I had COVID, so I was supposed to speak live and in person. We moved it to an online, so I was still able to speak. And, I was coughing and I sounded terrible, but they were very thankful that I was still there. And I was like, oh
you,
my God, I made the commitment. Of course, I want to be here.
oh yeah, you sound a lot like me. So the pre-event process, you're just checking in a week beforehand. You're going to let them know that you're going to be asking for the testimonial. If they take any pictures, you're going to ask for referrals. But also, here's a great question to ask whoever books you. If this goes as well as I'm planning on it going, what do you want to say happened? What was a result of me speaking for your group? That's a
Love
great
that.
question to ask people.
I'm writing it down. I love that.
Yeah. So what I love about this question is they are telling you what they need, what they're hoping is that is going to be accomplished. So they're just kind of like giving you an insight, and you do that, like you're going to far exceed their expectations.
For sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. So you now have a pre and post event process.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Is there anything else, looking at what you've written down, the pre-event, the post-event, is there anything else that you're like, I would really like to add this?
I mean, obviously, the pre and post, that makes total sense. I kind of do that, maybe not as formally as this, but it makes 100%. I need a checklist.
Mm.
And then the speaker page on the website, I never even considered. Never even considered that. So that's 100% going to happen too. I mean, I could put a calendar of events of when I'm speaking on that page as well. We could do pictures and testimonials and all the good stuff. Maybe even show snippets of us on stage and etc. So I absolutely love that idea. I mean, that's worth a pound of gold right there.
There you go. Um, yeah, I think you having a list of past events and also future events is also a great thing. Here's another idea for those big events that you're trying to sponsor. Find out who's in charge,
Yeah.
invite them to one of your other presentations.
Yeah. I do that on a smaller scale, but that's a great idea. hey, we're going to be speaking. If you want to get kind of a snapshot of what we do and what we talk about, please join us. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and just keep sending them an invite. Eventually, they'll might just show up one night, sit in the back of the room, and be like, "Yep." They'll come up to you afterwards and say, "Would love for you to speak at our event."
Yeah, great idea. You're
Dang,
just sprinkling gold nuggets all over the place for me. I'm
I
just sweeping
am.
everything up.
I told you this was going to be good.
Yeah. Chock full of
Okay.
goodness.
Okay. So, did you get everything you needed?
That was amazing. Got more than I ever expected.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So, let's tell people where they can find you, learn from you, follow you, all that good stuff.
Sure, sure. I mean, we are on most of the socials. I mean, my website is collegeinroads.com, INROADS.com. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. Facebook and LinkedIn is where I get most of my clients. An
That's
honor to
right.
be able to help them with that.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you very much. So, Anne-Marie, thank you very much for joining me. And if you would
Yeah.
like to book your own speaker breakthrough session, stick around. Are you tired of hearing crickets on social media? Wondering where to get seen by the right people? Or frustrated with the growth of your business? Then the speaker breakthrough session is just for you. During this free 20-minute discovery call, I'll help you recognize where you're leaving money and opportunity on the table. You'll walk away with tips and a strategy to leverage speaking opportunities to get positioned as the expert, visible to the right people, and monetize your expertise. Book your call at speakandstandout.com/SBS for Speaker Breakthrough Session.